All right.
Mic check.
So,
Hello.
yeah, mic check. Um, welcome, everybody, tuning in to HRL Report episode 8. This is post Pocono. I believe it's episode 8, but it was race 6. I know that's a little confusing. Um, but yeah, we're back tonight with the regular crew plus our guest cup driver, Typhon. How you doing tonight, Typhon?
Hopefully a lot better come next week at Richmond.
Mm.
You do have your audio included, right, David?
Oh yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, we'll be going to Richmond next week. It's the last race before the bye. It's the exact halfway point of the regular season. Race 7 out of 14. But as for tonight, on the Cup side, Pocono tonight, we saw like one or two cautions in each stage, probably, if I remember correctly. There might have been three there in
Or more
stage
than that.
two. What was the stage where we had to go single file?
It was the
Stage
beginning of
3.
stage 3 because we
Okay,
had
so stage
like
three, we had a
There's
few more.
4 cautions in a row.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
We almost got there, but it was too late.
But at the end though, we did run the last about 20 laps green. There to the end. Um, I myself wasn't up in that top 5 to 10 pack. I was more in the 10th to 15th range, but I don't know how that racing was up there. But overall, it was a pretty, average race to me in terms of quality of it. Obviously we'd like to see less cautions. Um, what do you think, Shockz?
Um, it comes into average for the quality of racing that we have had this season. Um, what I mentioned at the end last week's stream was Pocono is a great race where it can had a lot of great racing until people have the lanes that the track gives them. A lot of going through turn 2 is a really tough turn to hit correct by yourself. Now trying to do it 2 or even 3 wide, you're from somewhere somehow. Um, I was
I don't know.
not.
I don't know if it's through
But
your guys's, but Shockz is in and out with his mic.
Yeah, he was briefly there at the end of. I heard most of what he just said, but yeah,
um, is it any better? I don't know.
it sounds good. It went
But
away for like just a second, like.
okay, but I mean, it overall was a great race in stage 1. We had even green flag pit stops in the first half of stage 2, and then it just all fell apart again. Got its back together at the end of stage 3. Just a lot of guys pushing past the limit, and it just led to some people's destruction throughout the race.
Yeah, the green flag pit stop was good to see, but then I made it bad because I sped. I had actually qualified really poorly, like 20th, and then I drove it up to like I think P6 when that cycle started, and actually stayed out longer than the top five to lead a lap, and then I came to pit road and just cooked it. So I ruined any chance of getting stage points there. But yeah, that was our only green flag pit cycle there. We would like to have more. Um, what uh, what did you think, Scarecrow?
I think all in all, it's about an average race. Kind of like what Shockz was saying. Um, it was some parts were good, some parts were bad. Um, just kind of some stuff to work on for the future. But all in all, it was a good race.
What about you, Typhon? Give us your thoughts on how you felt like the Pocono race went on the Cup side.
It definitely could have been a whole lot better. I mean, go back and listen to some of Shock's previous broadcasts with you guys at some of those other tracks. Just this whole season in general, it's it's getting a little careless. I know it's not too much. I want to say, I guess probably like the top 15 is not too crazy or anything. Sometimes that's just bumping up there. But some of the fast guys that end up actually having a good car and stuff, I mean, that classifies to a lot of guys because I mean a lot of guys had some good cars. They just mess up in some of the turns, but pretty much from 15th on back, if one of those fast guys, those four incidents in the third stage that made us end up going into single file. Uh, I caught a few. Sorry to call it out, but something happened with Tata and Twinkie up in the front or something. They ended up in the back, and right at the beginning of those cautions, it was a lot of those fast guys. Not saying it was them two, but a lot of those fast guys that are always in the back try to rush in those first like 2 laps after a restart, trying to get themselves back caught up to the front group so they don't get left behind. And all four of those cautions came from the start on the restart, coming up to, I usually call it 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and 5 and 6 or whatever it is for the turn. So for me, turn 3 and 4 where you can dip it under the apron a little bit. A lot of those fast guys in the back were shooting it down there, and you can get that 3 to 4 wide run coming out of that turn if you're by yourself. But like Shockz said, once there's 2, 3 guys making it 3 wide right there, and then you got that one guy that's got all that speed in the back, and he's the one that forces it below that apron and then slides up the track, it just caused those cautions right out of that turn. And then went to green, uh, single file. Wasn't intentional, but coming out of the final turn was coming up for the restart, and a lot of the back always like gets up to speed and then goes past the speed and then brake checks and stuff. And there was just a long pile up coming out of the turn. I got a T-glass and it screwed his race to try to compete. But just like y'all said, I mean, it's the carelessness of trying to be so aggressive instead of give. They're always taking it in the back, which causes a lot of these cautions. From my perspective, I'd rather start each race single file. Take that first lap, get everybody single file, and I guarantee you we're going to go green a lot longer than we have been so far this season.
Stage one's never really been the issue. Stage one's been our best racing for the last 4 races, it appears. I mean, that's not the problem. Stage two is where we fall apart every time because that's where the setups get put in.
It sounds like you guys
Yeah.
had a more pronounced version of what happened in the truck race. We were pretty calm in stage 1 and 2. We had a early caution in stage 1 that kind of let people get their setups in, and then we really didn't have another caution, I don't think, until stage 3. But then, by then, it was like, oh, we're getting into 1 and 2 pit stop territory, and then cautions just started chipping them off. And then the closer we got to the end of the race, the more desperate guys would get, and the faster the caution would come out. Luckily, we got it with a single overtime. Instead of having to invoke the rule, we made it clean the second time. But we have that same problem. It comes stage 3, guys start getting more aggressive. The guys that are caught in the back from something, they're just forcing their way through. We had guys pushing 5, 6 wide in turn 2, just like I thought we would, and that's what was causing the cautions. And then um, it's not that never happened earlier in the race. Just the caution would come out because they would spin off and people would avoid them and happen clean. But at the end, everyone was just such in a hurry. We had a bunch of cars lap down, people trying to get to be the lucky dog, and they would just send it through. Um, I know we're not actually sitting in the trucks, but we can't really be doing that. And I think we could all 60 of us could use calming down a little bit.
Yeah, so like just speaking from my point of view, me inside the car, I found it like there was a lot of there's just so many runs at Pocono, and a lot of people exiting corners at different paces, and it's a long straightaway. So, if you, I mean, this is my opinion. If you're like past the checkered flag, and you're like halfway between the checkered flag and the turn one, for example, like me personally, I just didn't even make those moves. Like I would just fall in behind and follow the guy through the turn, and then get the run off the next turn and have like a closer, get a better run off turn one and be able to pass them more like in the middle of the straightaway. Because it's just like a lot of guys get these runs, but then they catch the guy that they're getting the run on like right, as they're going into the turn, and sometimes they'd even throw it 3 wide. Like for me, I just wasn't doing that. I was I was more like if I didn't like already get beside them by like the start finish line, I'm just like all right, I'll just wait till the next turn. But that was just me. And then you also saw like because of those runs, you saw a lot of crazy blocks tonight, at least from my point of view. Um, I'm not gonna say they're all intentional. I just think the big speed differences kind of causes that, and I was even guilty of it a time or two, to be honest. I didn't stream. That was my error. I forgot to stream, but I definitely threw a block or two that I was like, damn, I probably shouldn't have done that. It was a little bit reckless. Um, but all in all, like I said, Chuck said, I think that it was an average race. I think it was better than some of the races we've seen recently, and then at the same time, it's not quite at the level we want it to be yet. But let's go ahead and go over the finishing orders. Shockz, you got the cup side, top 10?
Yeah, I got it.
All right.
Um,
I was P11, by the way, so don't gotta wait on me.
yeah, P10 was Rowe. I think Rowe had a really good race, to be honest. I saw him towards the front a lot. Um, P9 was Strudel, Duster Strudel. He also was another guy that had a lot of time up at the front. Good for him. Cobra in 8th, Stein in 7th. They kind of had a bit of a beef mashup tonight. That kind of hurt each other. They both should have been top 5, but kind of talk about that a little later. I finished 6th, BB in 5th. He had a good race. Tango in 4th. I believe he rallied from being the
It's a good
lap
run for
down.
Tango. That's a good
He
run.
was a lap down, I think,
Yeah.
late in stage 2, so that was a good comeback for him. Blue Star was 3rd, Welpdang was 2nd, and Cone grabbed himself the win tonight.
So, I mean, a couple names you mentioned there in the top 5, just off the top of my head. I mean, Tango and BB, those are strong runs for both those guys. I think they're kind of mired down middle to bottom of the points. So, strong runs for those guys. Um, any notable guys that ran out front but kind of came away with bad finishes? I know Tata, I think, got into something at the end.
Yeah, me and him came together on the last lap. We were 4th and 5th. I went below him going into turn 2 just as a defensive mode from Tango, actually. Not even trying to pass him, but when I came down, he came down at the exact same time, and it just turned his car across my nose. So he got robbed of the top 5. Um, I saw LX was up towards the front a lot. On some speed and tire strategy. It's the guy I didn't hear in the top 10.
Yeah, I think he.
Um,
I was talking to him post race. I think he ended up with P17, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Salesman was another one. I think he was top 8, top 10
Man,
for majority of the race.
and speaking of sales, I think I saw sales, sales and Cone for sure. I think I saw got wrecked like 3 times that race. Cone got wrecked
Yeah.
like 3 times in the first stage. I'm pretty sure.
Mhm.
Um, so I think Tatum might have gone around a few times too. But
Yeah.
yeah, there was a lot of like every time I ran mid pack for most of the race, and it's like every caution happened in front of me usually. Like one of the faster guys getting wrecked and then having to battle their way back up through the field. But shout out to Cone. He recovered and persevered through all that, and he picks up is that his second win of the season, I believe.
Mm,
Pretty sure.
yes, because he
Okay.
won WWT.
Yeah, so I
So
think he
that's back to back
joins.
for him.
Yeah, I missed last week. That's why I couldn't recall. But
Is
so
that 5 yet?
what's up?
But
How many does he have now? 3 or 5? Or 4?
for this
Sorry.
season,
He's
Yeah.
got 2.
that's
Two.
2.
Oh, my
Yeah,
bad.
him and Tata are tied for the lead right now in wins, I believe, with 2, and then Shockz has 1, and who's the other? Is it Blue Star or NLS? One of them.
It's NLS.
Was it Blue Star?
Yeah,
NLS
yeah,
won
NLS.
Atlanta. Blue Star had a streak of P2s. That's why he hasn't won yet.
Yeah. But you want to before we hop over to the trucks, you want to just kind of go over the since you got it up anyway, the Cup standings right now? So we can.
Yeah, I can run through that real quick. So at the top is me and Cone. We're separated by a point, and then you're looking at Blue Star is 12 back. NLS is 26 back and fourth. Tata fifth with 30 back, and then you take a big jump to sixth with Cobra, who's 55 back. Tyreek was seventh, but he missed tonight, so he'll drop further down. Spartan was eighth. Didn't see a lot of him tonight. Stein is ninth, 81 back. He had a good run. Expect to see him go up. Bren loses his P9, P10 streak. Not sure how his night went, but I know he'll bounce back. T-Glass in 11th. DJ 12th. Pumps in
DJ
13th.
just in at the cutoff there, and then who'd you say is 13th?
Pumps at 101 back. And
Okay.
then you're looking at Chew, Tango, Typhon, Shadow, BB, Alex are like literally all within 15 points.
All fighting for that
Um,
cut line.
Yeah, Crow's in 20th. And then it kind
Yeah,
of
missing that race last week. I think might that cut line's gonna be a tough battle all year. I think there's so many solid guys, and I had like a 20 something, maybe even 30 race streak going, and then I had to miss one last week, unfortunately. But it's a long. I mean, we're not even halfway through the regular season yet, so a lot of time to bounce back for those guys that are sitting there 13th through 20th or whatever. I'm sure there'll be other guys who miss races as well.
How many cars did you have tonight?
25.
25. So one of our
nice.
lower numbers so far, I think.
Well,
25 is
that's
one of
more than I saw on the check-in, so that's always a good thing.
Yeah, I think 25 might be our lowest total for attendance so far. But yeah, let's go ahead and hop over to the truck side. You got the finishing top 10 there, Tunda?
Yeah, I got him up. In 10th, we had, well, actually, before I get to that, we had a few of the big names that have been sucking up the wins, and a lot of the stage points got caught up in some of the shenanigans that went on in stage 3. So there's going to be some notable. I can't think of the word I'm looking for. Too many head traumas, but notable not theirs. In P10, we have Brad K. I didn't see him a lot today, but I ran most of the race in hell after I got my weekly dumping. P9 was up top. He led a lot of laps today, at least for him. They might be some of his first laps of the season that he led under not at a plate track. Dave had a good day in P8. Twinkle Toes and the new driver of the 2 truck over at Trophy Hunter in P7. Uncle Alex in P6. Seabake had a good day up in P5. Old guy in P4. Chase came back, and he came back to 3rd place today. Mets fan. I saw him spinning stage 1. He came back to P2, and one of the local boys won the truck race. It's going to be Jack Bauer with his first win of the season or second. I'm bad at
What's
paying
his truck
attention.
number so I can
It's
pull
his
him up real
first.
He's
quick on
number
the stream?
18.
Number 18, okay. I'm going to pull
Yeah.
him
I
up.
think
Ankrum
it's
truck.
Tyler Ankrum. Yeah.
Why does the 18 say Sawalich? Oh, I'm in the
There might be a
Xfinity.
couple.
It was
Oh,
in the
you're in
Xfinity
Arca.
series.
Yeah, yeah, I'm in the Xfinity.
Stan,
There it
which
is,
is
18.
the Arc 18.
Got it. Sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead. Or actually, no,
that
you
was
finished the
that
top
was
10.
our top 10. And I was just going to see if that's going to have any points implications, which it will.
Yeah,
With,
let's go over the standings a bit.
so I'll just do the mud flap. Our points leader, he finished 11th, and it's gonna hurt his lead a little bit, but not all that much over Dirty Fox himself, who is currently in second because he also missed out of the top 10 there. Old guy sitting in third, 52 points back, but that third place finish today is going to move him up some. Jack came into the race P4. Twinkle
He might
Toes
be P2
P5.
now, probably. Jack, you
Yeah,
think?
Jack.
Yeah.
I don't know how he did it in the stages, but he's definitely gonna get a boost.
Yeah.
Seabake is P6, and he was ahead of Seabass, so he might jump him. Mustang had a very bad day today, so he's probably gonna lose his 8th place spot to, as he's absolutely gonna lose his 8th place spot to Brad K. And he might lose 9th to Hida, who's currently 10th, and that's our
Who's on that cut
top
line there?
10. And the
Who's
cut
on
line
that?
is gonna be Mets fan and Dirk. Is in 12th, 96 points back,
Mets
and
had a
he
strong
came
run,
into the
right?
race. He is, but he had a pretty bad day today. He beat
Okay.
me, but
Oh.
he got caught up in some stuff, and I snagged one stage point, and I came into the
Huh?
race in 13th, 8 points behind Dirk, and behind me are R34, and up top we're gonna close the gap a bit. Then we
So
got
my
no one else really making a jump from back there. Chase is gonna get some much needed points. He's had some misses in DNF, so they're putting him back in 22nd coming into the race, but a 3rd place finish is going to jump him up quite a bit.
so sounds like Jack is gonna reclaim his P2 spot that he kind of held throughout the few weeks prior to this last one. And then, I mean, for me, I don't know about you guys. You guys can chime in if you want, but it sounds like there's a couple names there that through 6 races here, almost halfway through the regular season, that are surprisingly down near the cut line. I believe you said outside the top 10, there was Mets and Dirk, I believe.
Yeah, Mets and Dirk are 11th and 12th, and I'm sitting there in
Yeah.
13th coming in.
Yeah, I think that's surprising to me. I think Dirk finished I think he finished P2 in the standings last year. And then Mets, he didn't finish as high. I think he was like 6th or 7th or something like that. But he missed like half the races. When he was there, he was a top
Yeah.
five truck pretty week in and week out. So it's surprising to see those guys down there around that cut line. Um, Anybody else have any comments on either series, the standings, before we move on? Nope. Okay.
Nope.
All right. So we're gonna go ahead and move on from Pocono then. We'll go to the Grill the Guest segment of the show. Typhon, you still with us?
Oh yeah.
All right. So I guess I'll go first. Basically, this segment, everybody, just ask you a question and you do your best to think of a answer. So my question is, I believe you. I don't know if anyone reached out to you. I know that I didn't. I can't speak for all the other admins. But was there any thought in the off season that you might consider moving down to trucks for this season, like some of the guys that kind of ran in your pace bracket last year did? The Jacks, the old guys, the Ryan Hurricanes of the world. Were you reached out to, and was it something that you considered? I can't hear you, Typhon, if you're
Is he
talking.
there?
Oh, I thought
You
you
might.
were saying that was for the admins.
No, no, no. That's for you. That's for you. Question for you.
About who going down to the trucks or
You?
that I got
Yourself.
reached out to?
Yourself. Yeah. Okay. So just for background, the admins, whenever we were trying to like set up the series, like who was going
Yeah.
to be in what series, you were one of the guys on the short list of guys who were gonna like kind of have an option if they wanted to
Yeah.
run Cup or trucks based on pace. We felt like you could hang in Cup if you wanted to. Nobody's going to tell you can't. But you also would have been allowed to drop down to trucks based on the pace that you showed last season. So were you ever reached out to about that? And if you were, what would have been something you considered?
I think I can't remember. I talked to somebody. I'd have to go back and try to find it in messages or whatever. That going down to trucks, I would have been perfectly fine for. I don't know if it's this game or what, or I mean, I just now started trying the wheel the last 2 races or whatever, but last season and start of this season, I think I had one stage point time, and I think that was this year. And when I got talking to somebody, I'll have to find it and get back to you guys on it. I would have been perfectly fine moving to trucks. I just don't have speed with some of these guys that came over from RDL or ODRL. And keeping up with Kona Shocks was always tough. The only time I ever possibly had a chance was at a road course. So I figured going down there, I probably would have had a lot better chance, at least until I got used to the game, kind of how Mustang is. He wasn't too familiar, I guess, with the cup on getting the speed right or whatever. So, work your way from the bottom. And I would have been perfectly fine with it. But I think I mentioned somebody, I think it was a practice race before the season started at some cup track. I forgot what it was. And I said, I'll throw out, see if I can show enough speed to see if you guys still want me to hang out up here. And I don't think I got an answer back. But I figured since I was listed as a cup driver, I didn't get the opportunity to, I guess. But I mean, I'd be perfectly fine moving down there. Either way,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
kind of catching speed now on cup, but I don't know if it's still good enough for these guys.
our mindset, kind of as a group, as cup admins, and I think pretty much admins as a whole was during the off season was we weren't gonna like, force anyone down. But there was just a select list of guys that if they reached out to us, like a Jack or a Mustang, I believe they both did. They were gonna be given the option to do so. So I just wasn't sure if that was something that was discussed in the off season for you. But no, yeah, I mean, I'm with you, man. I didn't struggle, last season, as much as maybe like you or some of those other guys did, coming over to the new game. But I definitely am feeling it this season. I think I have one top 10 so far in 5 starts. Um, and yeah, like we went through the standings there. I'm battling for my life just to get into the chase. It's tough, man, with these new guys.
Yeah,
But
I don't think I've
does
had a
it?
top 10 with this game yet in HRL.
But anybody else want to go next? Who's got a question for Typhon?
I'll go.
All right.
Typhon, what's
Yep.
been the biggest adjustment for you coming to this new game and the new kind of handling? What's been your biggest struggle to deal with as far as like kind of getting the adjustments and kind of just getting a feel of this new car on this new game? What's kind of been your biggest hurdle to get through?
Well, the very first season with this new game, I wasn't on the same level with the whole setups on pit road. Meaning in the sense, back in Heat 5, you'd be doing a lot different things with your tire pressures, keeping them on 20, bumping the right sides up to 30, stuff like that. Well, the whole entire first season, that's what I was trying to do. And I just could never figure out why everybody was so much faster than I was. And then at the end of the season, I talked to somebody, and they said, "Oh yeah, pretty much every single track, drop your wedge all the way down and drop your tires all the way down." And it made me to where I had that top 5, top 10 speed. But that wasn't until this season started. And other than that, I mean, that was really the main thing. Now that I have the speed, it's the cars. I mean, they feel perfectly fine to me. I mean, you'll have a loose or a tight car depending on the track or whatever at the start, but car feels great. It's getting used to a lot of these bubble situations that it's real bad in this game compared to Heat 5. And other than that, now it's just getting used to this G9020 or G923 wheel and figuring out the right, I guess, wheel settings for myself compared to anybody else. I got a bunch of things I can look at from other people that are trying to help me out, but it's starting from one of those, but then actually dialing in the wheel. But other than that, that's really the only issues right now.
So I mean, throughout the HRL, like everybody kind of knows you, or they've known you in the past as the guy who gets like all the practice laps in. You've said it yourself. You run hundreds of laps at times, or you
Yeah.
have at tracks. Is that something that you still do, or have you kind of cut back on that on the new game?
No, I still do it. Heat 5 or whatever. Yeah, I was one of the ones. I've never really been into NASCAR since like NASCAR '09 was the last time I really played live. So coming in with you guys, joining since season 3 or whatever, I've actually, took the opportunity to. I'd shoot. There were some tracks I'd put in almost 1,000 laps trying different scenarios, different tire pressures, see what's a lot quicker to be able to really compete with guys like Shockz and stuff. And it's, I don't know, I still put in maybe about 450 to 550 laps or whatever. Uh, Post it up in the chat for guys. So, I mean, I still take hours wise, probably anywhere from like 7 to 10 hours on the track. And now helping out as an affiliate or whatever, helping out here and there with people in the truck series, stuff like that, to if I find something better for them. But yeah, I still put in a lot of time, about 7, 10 hours, 500, maybe up to 750, depending how I'm feeling that night.
Very good. Shocks, Tunda, you guys got a question for Typhon?
Yeah, I'll go. In seasons past, you were kind of known as someone that's gonna cut it close on whether you're gonna make it into the qualifying lobby or not. And when we had a single division, you missed probably most of them, but you also have the single best attendance in HRL history, both in volume and percentage. Knowing that you're often going to start in the back by missing qualifying, does that affect your driving style at all or any way in your preparation?
Oh yes, that's what it counts. Probably for at least a good, out of that 7 to 10 hours, at least a good 4 or 5 hours of me, like I said, trying different scenarios and stuff like that. Because I know majority of the time I'll push maybe first day or two just testing out qualifying runs, just in case I do end up popping in. Um, Other than that, I just do it for whoever hits me up, if I'm in a group or not. Throw them what I do for qualifying. It's helped a few of them sit there and get top fives and stuff. But majority of the time, I'm working on scenarios back in the back, trying to think of all the guys that I know are running that top five, top 10. But now I got to remember every single guy in the back and what they do at this certain track, where their weaknesses are and where they're actually strong at. So I know, okay, I could pass him here, but I'm rather take 2 or 3 laps knowing that he's going to mess up here. So there's a lot more going into it starting from the back, but it makes it more enjoyable for me to actually take the time learning scenarios, learning about every driver's little bad spots on each turn. I'd rather start in the back, but I'd love to start probably starting up in the top 10, because riding back there now with all that bubble and guys trying to move up the track, it's gotten a lot worse compared to Heat 5, if I say so.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not the same anymore, right? Like, in prior seasons, maybe not so much last season, but at least on the NASCAR Heat games, you were generally a top 5 to 10 guy on pace every week. So starting in the back wasn't, I mean, it was a challenge, but like you knew by the end of the race, unless something happened, you would, on pace, you would get up to, top 5 or 10 or whatever. But now, I mean,
Yeah, it's a
the
thrill
top,
doing that.
the now the top 15, sometimes even the top 20, I mean, like they're all fast, you know. So track position is much more key. It's a lot harder to pass. You're not going to just get a lot of positions on pace anymore. So yeah, I definitely get that. Shocks, did you have anything for Typhon?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, we talked about the whole first, um, season. I didn't really know about the adjustments, and, obviously a lot of people call into those really quick, but my question was gonna be, have you been trying to apply those more in this current season, and how has that adjustment been for you?
Uh, yes, I pretty much. I can't remember. I talked to somebody that told me at the end of the season, yeah, getting everything to the left, as low as the wedge can go, as low as the tires can go, and I've implemented it so far this entire season, and it's put me. I've tried to stream each race, but it's put me speed wise in that top 5, top 10 range now. But now it's just the stressfulness of coming from the back to do it. So putting those in there, I think there's a few tracks, like one or two, that might have a different ordeal, going up to like 30 on your tires and stuff. But adjusting all the way down on the wedge and the tires, I've gotten used to it. I found the speed in the vehicle. Now it's just trying to get better at just figuring out people's bubbles in certain turns and stuff at all these tracks. And then it's just me trying to find a way to not get too far, because stressing coming from the back once you get up into that top 18 range. Well, now that top 10 to 15 is already 3 to 5 seconds ahead of you, and you have nobody to draft with now, so you're kind of just stuck in the wind and then you wreck. But
Yeah.
I think I'm getting used to it. Now it's just getting used to the wheel with those tires and wedge adjustments.
Yeah, I believe I mean, last season when we went through all the tracks, I kind of made notes on my phone of like what the track adjustments that I felt like were good on each track, so I would remember for the future. Um, just because I don't really play that much anymore, to be honest. When I get on, it's for league racing, and I don't get a lot of practice in through the week. I just have a lot of stuff going on, so I don't just remember at every track what I need to do adjustments wise. But looking at my adjustments thing here that I have, I mean, like half the tracks on here, like 50% of them, it's just 45 wedge and all the way bottomed out pressures. Like
Yeah.
it's just crazy. But yeah, definitely different coming from heat, and but I think that covers the grill the guest segment. Very good, Typhon.
Wait, is that a skip?
Um,
I got skipped last.
no, you asked your question, didn't you?
I think
He
he
did.
just put out the question and then he jumped to Scarecrow or something like that.
I thought. Oh, okay. I thought you asked the question, Tunda.
I thought you did too, to be honest.
No,
I guess
thought
that just
Shockz
wasn't his
doing that. I
question.
got skipped left.
Okay. Well, if you got
I
one,
got
go ahead.
mine in.
Okay.
No, I think we're all good. We all got our
Okay, we're good.
questions.
Okay. All right. So moving on to fact or fiction. Typhon, this is a segment where we're gonna lay out 3 statements. Then we're gonna go around the room, and you either say fact or fiction based on if you think it's true or not. The first one I have here, I believe Shockz might have came up with this one. I believe. Um, After 6 races, teams Nightmare Racing and Scuderia Tunda both find themselves 100 points back in the team standings. It is time for them to look to the free agent pool of drivers to find some help before they fall too far behind. Fact or fiction? I will start with the guess. Go ahead, Typhon.
Scuderia and Nightmare.
Yep. They're both 100 points out right now. Are they? Is it too early to start making moves, or do they need to kind of press that panic button and maybe make some moves? We did see Nightmare make a move this week. Spartan got picked up, and I believe Row the boat got moved to affiliate. So we've already seen some things start to, start to move around. But is that something you expect to continue seeing going forward, Typhon?
I could possibly see maybe movement, but I don't think we'll catch it after Richmond or the bye week. Uh, I don't think they'll do too much. A lot of these guys, like especially, I mean, Dirk. I mean, he's had a small rough go at it. I mean, like you said, he's outside the top 10 in points, if I remember correctly. So I mean, he might have got caught up in a few things. I don't really see them having to change too much. Scuderia, there's a chance they might, just because them pushing back, I think, what is it, about 160 something points or whatever. They might consider something, but nothing towards Tunda and how he runs his team. Like over Heat 5 series, I mean, he's run a lot of that chemistry-wise squad, but for not Nightmare, for Scuderia, maybe you might see something after Richmond. Their last shot to really do something for the team.
So it sounds like you're going fiction. It's a little too early right now to press the
Yeah,
panic button for those two teams. Okay,
yeah,
just
I'd say
got you.
maybe 2 to 3 weeks they might change something up, but right now, yeah, it's way too early.
Yeah, I mean, on Nightmare's side, I mean, I think Row the Boat was just kind of a scapegoat, to be honest. I mean, that's the team I'm on, and on the Cup side, it was me, Row, and DJ, and we've all pretty much struggled to start the season. Um, like I mentioned before, I have one top 10. I think I think DJ might be just inside the cut line if I remember correctly. But even still, he was top 5 last season, and then me and Rowe are outside the cut line. So I think Dirk just felt like he had to make a move, and I think, which I don't blame him for. I mean, like I said, I think you fall too far behind, you do run the risk of not being able to climb out of that hole. So I don't blame him for making the move, but I think we were all partly to blame for that. I don't think it should be a big mark against Rowe, or I don't think he should feel bad about it. But we're happy to have Spartan on the team now. And as far as um, Scuderia Tunda, well, let's just kick it over to the owner himself.
Yeah, I'm gonna go fiction. Um, I know firsthand in the truck series, we're getting caught up in some wrecks, man, and that's affected our points and our finishes and our stage points. And up in Cup, it's super competitive, and same thing, guys are getting caught in stuff, and sometimes that stuff up there is just there's a lot of fast guys, but like when it clicks, it can click. And on the truck side, we just got to get some finishes together, and on the Cup side, they just need to hang on while we figure it out down here.
Oh, and by the way, I don't think I threw in my answer there. I'm actually saying fact. I think that it is time to, if you want to start looking at making moves. I think we're hitting, like I said multiple times. We're already at that halfway point of the regular season, and I think you just can't afford to fall too far behind. If there's a move you think that will help your team, I think it's not too early to pull the trigger. So I'm gonna say fact. What do you say, Scarecrow?
I think I'll have to agree with you. I'll go fact, but I'll put a exclamation or a mark by it and just say that um, maybe not now, but I'm thinking maybe around the bye week. If things haven't gotten tighter for those two teams, I think maybe with that week off, the owners maybe kind of look at their team and see where they can make some improvements. Um, yeah, so I'll say fact on that one.
All right, 2 facts and 2 fictions. Shockz is gonna be the tiebreaker.
Um, I'm gonna go fact as well. I mean, like I said, we saw the first domino fall this week with Nightmare. I would have to say that I agree with the decision. Um, Obviously, Spartan was a Cup affiliate for Extreme Speed, and we loved having him part of the group. But I totally, he came to me and asked me about the situation, and I told him I would be a selfish man to tell him not to take it, obviously. And he's been wanting to work his way on an official team, fighting for team points, and he's been given the opportunity for Nightmare Racing, and we're happy for him. Um, I think we've seen in seasons past that I would say Scuderia keeps a very loyal mindset throughout the season. I don't think you see a lot of bad drops out of that team. Um, I would say nobody knows their team better than the owner, and if Tunda believes that this is a team that can get it done, then he's going to let that ride out, and we're all going to see what happens, right? He thinks it's his truck team that needs to get it figured out, while his Cup side is doing what they need to be doing. Um, I would say it's more of a 50-50, to be honest. Uh, I think
It's
the
not
truck.
that they're leading the cut points or anything, but if we could help them out a bit more, that wouldn't be such a gap. We'd be probably, I'd probably guess third place if we could just help them out.
Yeah, I mean between Hitta's race winner already. Like you said, Chase is
2 times.
such a big risk, big reward guy. When he's there, he's gonna score a lot of points, but when he's not there, is when it hurts. Um, but I don't know. I think Scuderi's got the pieces to make it happen, but I don't think a move would hurt. Dare I say? Um, but that's all up to Tunda to make, and it's his
So
team,
are you
and
leaning
he's gonna do
fact?
what he feels best. I'm fact.
Okay, you're fact. Yeah, I agree with everything you said there. Just speaking on the Nightmare side, we're happy to bring Spartan on. I told him he's a rookie, obviously, but we're familiar with him from Monday nights. And I told him before the season, when the draft happened, when he didn't get drafted, I was like, don't even worry about it, dude, because there's going to be moves. And I would not be surprised if you run off some good finishes and you show up and perform. You'll find yourself on a team sooner than later. And it just happened to be at Nightmare with me. It wasn't something that I had input on. Um, but I'm happy to have him with us, and I hope, and just for Roe, I hope Roe stays around as an affiliate because like I said, it wasn't really anything against him. It was just team wide we were struggling, and sometimes you just have to mix it up. But so we're gonna end up with 3 facts there on that first question and 2 fictions. Moving on to the second question, this is one that I came up with shortly before the race. Um, so we went over the cup standings there in the opening segment when we reviewed the finishing results and stuff. So the fact or fiction question is, as it stands right now, there's 5 cup rookies in the top 12 in the standings above the cut line. Off the top of my head, I want to say it's NLS, Blue Star, Spartan, Tyreek, and Bren. If I can remember correctly, I think those are the 5. I'm not sure about after tonight, but I think Pumps is right there on the cut line as well. So there's 5 in there now, and then the factor fiction is 5+ Cup rookies will make the chase. Let's start with Scarecrow.
I'll go with fact on this one. I think there's a lot of fast cup rookies. So yeah, I think you probably see at least half the playoff field at least be rookies. But yeah, that's my state. So I'll go fact on that one.
Yeah, coming into tonight, I believe Pumps was 13th, so he was very close to being in, and that would have made 6 out of 12 of the chase drivers rookies going into tonight. Um, so I tend to agree with you. I'm gonna say fact. I don't know if 6 will get in, but I think 5. If the number is 5+, I'm gonna say fact. I can't see Blue Star. I can't see NLS. I can't see Spartan, Tyreek, or Bren maybe, but he's pretty consistent. He's good with attendance. He's good with running in that 8th to 12th range usually. So I'm gonna say fact if the number is 5. What about you, Typhon?
I almost want to say fiction because I think 2 of them might fall out.
Which 2?
I don't see NLS, Blue Star, probably Tyreek falling out, but I'm thinking Spartan and maybe Bren.
Okay.
I think Bren will be a lot closer than Spartan. I think he hits that 13th spot, but
All right.
it'll be a real close battle.
All right, so Typhon's going fiction. Tunda, what do you say?
I was just looking at the cup points. I'm going to go fact. And I think they will get 6 in. I think the 6 that are flirting with it right now are going to make it.
And I think there's others too. I only mentioned those 6, but you got Welpdang down there. I know
Oh
his
yeah, I'm
attendance
looking
is
around. I'm not saying
his
it's going to
attendance
be
has
only
been a little
6. I
shaky,
think
but when
6.
he shows up, I would say attendance would be the only thing that keeps Welp out
And
of
that's
the
75%?
if you get the 8.
75%.
If you got the wait, no. Oh yeah, the attendance thing? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It's
still
14.
75, right?
It's
So I think we
I think
set
you
a
got to make 11
limit.
yeah, it's
races.
50 to be allowed to race during the playoffs. It's
Right.
75% to race for the championship.
So I think it's
Yeah, I think the
11 out of
math
14.
yeah, the math we did before the season was you needed to make 11 of the 14 starts. Yeah, that was right. So we got Typhon saying fiction, the rest of us saying fact. What do you say, Shockz?
So the answer is 5 or more.
5 or more
Okay.
rookies. Will they make the choice?
I
Right
think
now
Blue
there's 5.
Star. I think Blue Star is a lock. I think NLS is a lock. Tyreek is fully attendance based. If he shows up to 11 of the 14, he is a lock. Definitely no owner bias there, by the way. Spartan. Spartan shows the speed. He just seems to become involved in something weekly, like we all are. But the question is, when you are involved, can you recover? And a lot of the times when he is involved in something, it's towards the end of the race, where there is no time to recover. So he's a bubble guy. I can completely see him being right on the cut line going into the last race. Bren is also it's the same for him. I think it's a stage points thing. I mean, if you look at it, the 4 guys below him all have more stage points than he does, and I think eventually that's going to bite him in the butt. To be honest, I could easily see a guy like T Glass or DJ or Nilla, slipping their way in there. Tango could catch fire like he did tonight. But I'm also even looking lower than that. When you got Typhon still figuring out adjustments, he's only going to get quicker as these weeks go. LX is a guy who's had speed each week. He just seems to get involved and got turned by the guy talking himself last week. Got turned twice. Whelp Dang had a P2 tonight. I'm gonna go fiction. I am. I think 4 are gonna make the playoffs. That's my guess. Fiction.
Alright, so that's gonna be 2 fictions and 3 facts. How about these questions so far, guys? That's pretty solid. Both of them 3-2 splits. Alright, so moving on to the third one. Also one that I've came up with, and also one that's gonna hit close to home for one of our hosts and team owners here. It is
Oh, God.
with Dirty Fox currently sitting P2 in the truck standings. Again, that was coming into tonight. I think Jack is probably going to take over that spot, so Dirty Fox might be P3. But with him sitting P2 coming into tonight, and New York Mets fan sitting down there mired in 11th, we can confidently say that Trophy Hunter Racing got the best of that pre-draft keepers trade between them and Extreme Speed Motorsports. Fact or fiction? And of course, we're going to start with the owner of Extreme Speed Motorsports.
Gosh, let the man get an answer together first. Jeez. I mean, I'm obviously gonna go fiction here. I told Dirty Fox at when the trade happened, there was obviously nothing. I had nothing personal against him. Nothing. Metz was somebody who did not like the situation he was in and was looking to get out. And I feel like no owner had a better chemistry with him than me myself, and I was willing to stretch a few picks to make that happen. And I know Metz has not had a great start to the season, but I think tonight is the first building block for him to start to catch a little bit of momentum with the P2. I'm going to go with fiction because I obviously, Tyreek and Welp are both very quick Cup guys that while it does not look incredible in the standings due to attendance, when they both show up, they both have a lot of speed, and I got the guys that I wanted, and that was even with trading down. So to me, I see no loss, and I'm going to go fiction.
Yeah, I mean, so a big key part of it was it wasn't just the keeper sweeps or the keeper swaps, right? You moved back a couple slots, I believe, in the draft. Was that right?
Yes, so I moved my ninth pick to the 11th.
And you were already picking
I was
12th.
pick I was pick 10 and 11, and I believe I went to
But you would have been
11.
9 and 12, was it?
No,
Or
I was gonna be 10 and 11, but I went to
okay,
11 and 12. That's what
okay,
happened.
got you.
Yeah, yeah.
So your one pick didn't change at all, but the other one went from 9 to 12. And I mean, if you still
Lost.
got the guy at 12 that you would have taken at 9, then that's really irrelevant for you, the pick swap.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
I mean, I mean, I'm gonna say I kind of agree with everything that you're saying as far as Tyreek and Welp being, two of the faster guys in the series, and I'm not saying they were bad draft picks at all. But I think just, I mean, looking at the performance on the truck side with the swaps, I mean, I think I gotta say fact, only because I mean we're about halfway through the regular season so far. We got you know we got one of the guy that you gave up competing for a top three spot right now in the standings, or the guy you gave up actually like on the cut line, and the guy you got, or I don't know, I'm getting this backwards. The guy you gave up is competing for the top three in the standings, and the guy you got is down there by the cut line. And then I would say that if Tyreek and Welp were, I mean, I know it's been attendance wise, and I know it's not necessarily indicative of their speed, but I would say that if they were, up there in the top 10 in points, which I think Tyreek is close, I'm not sure about after tonight, I don't think he was there, but then I would say that that kind of like balances out what happened with the truck swap on the other side. But the fact that Welp's down there in the points and Tyreek might be around the cut line now, um, I'm gonna say fact for now, but I definitely agree with you as far as like by the end of the season, things could look vastly different. What do you say, Scarecrow?
I'll agree with you. I'll say fact. Um, I think Dirty Fox has run pretty good this year, and then Max has kind of had his struggles here and there. Um, so yeah, I'll just go with kind of how they sit now. Obviously, things could change in the future, but I'll give the nod to Trophy Hunter on that trade.
All right, Tunda.
I'm gonna go. I think fiction. I'm looking at the lineups here, and with performance notwithstanding, because again, same thing we're dealing with over in the Tunda garage. Stuff's going down on track this season. But he's got three race winner, or at least race winner capable truck drivers, and he's got three race winner capable cup drivers. And that's not to say that Trophy Hunter doesn't, but I think that Extreme Speed has the numbers there, and I think that once things start clicking for these guys, especially Mustang and Mets fan, I think he won.
Yeah, but well, I guess you can't really include Mustang, right? Because that Mustang wasn't really a part of the deal. It was really just the keeper swap and then the second round
Right,
picks.
but the keeper swap and the second pick both affected the strategy that led to the lineup that the teams have now. Like Trophy Hunter got the father son combination, um, and then their other truck driver just had to get swapped out. But Street Speed, they're ready to go.
All right, fair enough. Well, it sounds like we have our third straight fact or fiction split in a row, and we're gonna head to Typhon for the tiebreak this time. What do you say, Typhon?
This is definitely one of your better questions that I've heard throughout your entire series this season. So, congratulations on this one. But this one is literally right on the fence for me. But if I had to fall one way, looking at more of what's gonna end up happening throughout the middle and the end of the season, just like Shock said, it depended on the attendance for like Welp and Tyreek. I mean, that can completely shift for his team to where they start pretty much taking over the top five guaranteed, all three of them. And with the player swap, yeah, it's great right now. But just like the owner of Extreme Speed, New York Mets fan is getting everything underneath them, and it's the beginning of the season. We still have another, what, 8 races to go. I
Yep.
mean, a lot can
8.
change within those 8 races. I mean, stage points be collected, all that type of stuff. So I'm going to lean more towards fiction just because even though Trophy is showing a lot of great things right now with the player swap, I think it'll start turning towards the end of the season and the better
Yeah.
deal would have went towards extreme speed.
Yeah, and I believe that 8 races only applies for the regular season. The team points runs through the end of the year, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
then
so
there's
actually they
like
have
12
14
or
races.
13. Yeah, so
Yeah, they have
it
14
can
races left. So
completely flip. Right now, you can
And,
say fact just because they're showing it early on. I just think Extreme Speed Motorsports is going to turn on the Jets, and by the end of the season, they're going to be running away with a lot of it.
and also, we take the best two trucks on the team every week, and best two cars on the team every week, and you get one mulligan.
yeah,
And Extreme Speed is one of the few teams set up to not need that.
right. Yeah, they're deep for sure. They have a lot of talent on that roster, and like you said,
They
being
got a
that they have
fast owner.
Tyreek and
That's the
be,
secret
well, of
weapon.
course, but being that they have Tyreek and Welp, they really just need them both. He really just needs them both not to miss on the same week.
Yeah, once that happens, which I don't think is going to. According to my fellow Cup driver himself, I was told by Wilp that he does not plan on missing another race. Tyreek is apparently on some lottery vacation in South Africa that his family magically
Sick.
won. So,
All right.
yeah,
Well, that's
but,
either awesome or the craziest, the
I
craziest
wouldn't
like
go there
lie I've
right
ever
now.
heard. Like,
yeah, listen, does the data show currently that maybe Extreme Shocks made a trade that he lost? Potentially. But I think by the end of the season, I think it will be swayed. Um, we took a shot, we took a gamble. Gambles sometimes pay off, and I think this is one that's going to pay off. But I think both are going to be in the chase. I don't think there's a clear winner, clear loser kind of things. And when I knew that I had Mets and I ended up securing, Jack and Mustang, it's kind of like Tunda said, it's more of playing the system. And when I've got 3 guys that can easily win week in and week out, that the odds of at least 2 being near the front um, becomes much more likely. And as we saw tonight, having our first 1-2 of the season on the truck side is a big first step. Jack's been struggling to find his comfort zone, and he finally found it tonight. And I expect him to take off from here. Mustang is going to get figured out. Mustang has his struggles and sometimes gets caught and stuff, but I'm going to keep working with him, and eventually he's going to figure his own situation out, and, I think we're going to be just fine.
very good. So I guess that'll wrap up the fact or fiction segment. We had all 3 questions. We had 3-2 split. I think that's the first time we've had that in 7 episodes of doing that now. So that was good. Let's keep that up. So we're going to move on to the HRL mailbox segment now. I have 3 that I have written down here, all from 3 different people. The first one's going to be from LXTX. He says, for the first time since the draft, we have begun to see activity on the waiver wire. If you had to predict one more move before things settled down, who gets dropped and who gets added? And he wants an answer for both Cup and trucks. Scarecrow, what do you think? Who's the next guy who gets let go, and who's the next guy that gets picked up in both series?
Pretty much who's on the hot seat, in your opinion.
Yeah.
Does it have to be from each team or just one in total? One in
No,
general
one
from
total.
each?
One total from each
Total.
series.
Um, if I had
That's
to
a tough
guess, if I had to guess one, I'd have to say maybe Ryan Hurricane from Nightmare. That'd be maybe the one guy. Maybe Nightmare makes some more changes after this week. But I'd say, yeah, maybe that's the one guy I would say might be on the hot seat here early on.
Well, that's the truck side. You got to pick a cup one too.
Cup side, um, it's tough. I'm kind of torn, but I would say, mm,
I mean, all the guys that
honestly,
are on cup
yeah, I was
rosters
gonna say,
currently are really good.
yeah, I was gonna say, there's not really an outlier here. Maybe if I had to say one, maybe DJ. He's kind of struggled this year, but I mean, I wouldn't say that's. I'd say all of Nightmare's Cup squad has kind of struggled, so maybe it would just be DJ would be my Cup pick.
And then who do you think would get picked up on each side? Like one guy from each of the free agent
I think
pools.
from the Cup side, I think T Glass finds his way onto a team. He's been running decent. And then for the truck side, I would probably say Rabbit Rabbit would be my pickup.
So for me, I mean, I'll start with the cup side, and I mean, I completely agree with you. I mean, how do I pick from these cup names? I mean, most of them are running, in the top 12 in points, or if they're not, it's based on attendance so far. As far as like myself, I believe Welp falls into that category. Tyreek might be in that category after this week. Um, man, it's like the guys that I might say are like the the guy like a shadow is like somebody who I would say, but I know who the team owner is, so I'm not gonna say him because, I think that he's a lifer at Scuderia Tunda, pretty much. So man, I'm I'm gonna say it's either between, like you said, DJ. Even though that just, I mean, no, you know what? I'm not gonna say that. I think he's fine. I'm gonna go between. I'm actually gonna say one of the Extreme Speed Motorsports guys. I'm gonna say, just because it's hard, I think that maybe one of them maybe just can't make it on attendance. I know that there's just attendance question marks surrounding both of them. I think maybe Shockz at some point is just has to make a tough decision attendance wise or something like that, and that's really the only way I can go because none of these guys really I think are gonna be deserving of getting dropped on pace. Um, and then the truck side, I would say chase the TD. I know that Scuderia Tunda, like I said before, is pretty loyal to their guys, but I think just his past reputation in here of kind of missing races, and on top of that, also struggling so far to start the season, that maybe he gets dropped. And then as far as guys that get picked up, I'm gonna go with on the Cup side. On the Cup side, I'm gonna say it's probably you said T-Glass, so I'll go different. Maybe Bryn or Pumps, one of the rookies. Who are kind of hanging around that cut line right now, who seem pretty consistent. I could see one of them getting picked up. I guess I'll go with Bren, just if I have to do a tiebreaker. Um, and then on the truck side, I looking at it here. I'm gonna say up top. I think if I know he's had a really rough start to the season, but he's the one truck guy or one cup guy who moved down um, to trucks this season, and I know he's had a rough start, but I think that he at some point will string together a good run of races, good run of finishes, and a team owner will see that and ultimately make a move to grab him. Um, what do you say, Shockz?
Well, thank you for asking me the question. I am not going to go away from the guy that you said you were not going to say. I would say on the Cup side, I believe that all the teams are greatly competitive, but I would have to say Shadow would have to be the one on the hot seat. I think it would be a Do you think he got a better chance at hitting the lottery than Shadow being dropped by Tunda? We know how long that team chemistry has gone there, but if Tunda was looking at a chance at being more competitive on the cup side with some of the names on the block, I would say he's the one. That's the one that would be dropped first among all the
I mean,
cup
look, if it's based
teams.
on pace, it's Shadow. I mean,
I
I
mean,
think we.
like I said, and it's different. Like we talked about last week, it's different for every team owner, and it depends on the priority chain. But I'm going just based off of pace
Yeah.
for the hot seat.
Yeah.
So that I would say Shadow. For who would be picked up, um, I could totally see him putting Pumps in there as the affiliate. I think Pumps has a lot of raw pace. He's just a little young, still getting a lot of experience and maturity along with it. I think that's a development piece right there. I'm just going to say Pumps just going along with saying if he's the one that dropped, I could totally see Tuna bringing his affiliate to give him a chance. For trucks, I am going to have to go with Ryan. I know you said Chase, and I contemplated it myself, but just with how much pace he brings to the track when he's there, it's so tough to drop him and give him the chance to be picked up by somebody else. I'm gonna have to go with Ryan. You're looking at two great pieces there already, alongside Mudflap and Dirk. Those are two guys that are not gonna let you down. I was shocked to hear Dirk outside of the top 10 in points, though, who was our P2 finisher last season. That caught me by surprise. But for who would be picked up, I'm gonna have to give my guy R34 some love. I think he's the highest points guy right now that is not on a team, and I know he just recently bought a wheel, so I think his speed is only going to increase. So that's why I would say him.
All right, Typhon, what do you say?
Shockz kind of hit pretty much the nail on the coffin on what I was deciding. But yeah, mine would probably be Shadow in the Cup Series. I just think some races he has good speed, sometimes he doesn't, but he's also one of the ones that, you know, sometimes it's not his fault, but sometimes it is his fault. He's one of the main ones that get complaints on him, so a lot of people are going to probably race him a lot more aggressive. So I think he'd probably be the best option out of all the Cup Series to be dropped. For his replacement, kind of also doing the whole ordeal going based off points, I'd probably say, I'm not sure who it is, but I'd probably say Tango 37. I think he's sitting in the top 10, like 8th or
Top five
something, and he
tonight.
also has a
Top
win.
five tonight. Yeah.
So I think he'd probably be the best cup option for Tuna to pick up. I know they had great chemistry. I think he's been on Tuna's team pretty much his whole career with HRL. I think that would probably be the best option cup-wise. Truck side, I was kind of on the same ordeal with the fence of Chase and Ryan, but I'd probably say Ryan. And I was going to go based off of points from what I heard, but since R34 is taken, I almost want to say I'll probably choose Midnight, because if he actually ends up on a team, like he has some races that he actually does really well, but he gets caught up in a lot of incidents. Um, but he's a solid practicer. He's always going to be on the track trying to figure out different things that he can do to get himself towards the front. So I think Midnight might be one of the ones for me.
All right. So before we kick it over to the team owner that everybody's been talking about, his drivers himself, I do want to give Shadow a shout out because while his pace hasn't been spectacular this season, I'm actually not even sure if he raced tonight. Was he there tonight, Tunda? I don't remember seeing
Who was
him.
that? I was coughing.
Shadow.
I'm not
I don't
aware of the
remember him.
cup side.
I don't
I
remember him
think
seeing
he was.
him.
I thought I seen him in
I
qualifying.
think he was there. Yeah, he was
Okay.
there. He was there.
Okay. But what I was going to say is I have to give him a shout out because, yes, you're right, Typhon. Shadow does have a reputation for being a little aggressive, reckless, putting his nose where he shouldn't sometimes. But I don't believe, as far as all the penalties we've seen this year, I don't think we've seen one come down on that 22 car. So maybe he's making an improvement in that area, and then maybe as long as he does that, the pace will come as well. But without further ado, let's kick it over to his team owner and see who his picks are to answer this question.
Well, I can't say that I disagree with you guys, but I think for the most part, the ad drops that have happened have mostly or that are going to happen have already mostly happened. I think any major swaps that are going to be made are going to be attendance based when we reach that cliff that we all know happens. Us that have been around here a while. It didn't hit us as hard as last year as it normally had. And I hope it doesn't, because that way we can get 3 divisions, and hopefully personally can run a little bit better. But I think the replacements are mostly going to be the affiliates for the most part. But I think the top Cup free agent right now is probably either God, I forgot his name because I put my phone down. Tango. He's newer to me, so it's harder for me to remember his name. But the Tango and T Glass are probably the two to snag on the Cup side. And again, it's most likely going to be the affiliates because they already have the familiarity with the team and whatnot, and they'll know their owner will already know of something that somewhere their good's going to come up or something like that. And then on the truck side, again, Tall Mike already an affiliate for. Is that your team?
Indeed, it is.
It is. See him, and it's pretty much the one that I'm surprised is not signed, but there's just not enough seats. So again, I think it's just going to be affiliate swaps. I don't think there's going to be any major deals.
All right. So let's move on to the second question that came in here. This one's gonna be from. I originally had Seabass down, but I think Shockz corrected me and said this one's from Brad K. Um, so he says, last week one of our mailbot questions that was talked about was like the idea was kicked around of creating or creative crown jewel races, labeled after sponsors or drivers in HRL. And I guess one person brought up that, an options of what if we chose a race each season, and labeled it as a crown jewel, but the race was double points. So we make the schedule and then we pick a track on the schedule and make that race worth double points. I haven't given it some thought, so I'm going to not go first. I'm going to think about it for a minute. What do you think, Scarecrow?
It's definitely an interesting idea. Um, Maybe, we kind of have the Mantis Memorial each season. Um, so to me, that's kind of the crown jewel in per se. Um, I wouldn't be a fan of double points for a random race in the middle of a season or wherever we put it. Um, so yeah, I like the idea, but some of the idea I'm not the biggest fan of the double points side of it. I don't think many people would. I don't know how the the league would feel about one random race being a double points night. That might be the week you have a bad week or something, and it really hurts you more than the other races. So yeah, I'd go. I'm not a big fan of that side of it.
What do you say, Typhon? Would you be down with the idea of making one crown jewel race per season, like whatever track is decided, and then we race for double points that night? Is that something you'd like?
Not really. Like Scarecrow said, I mean, you already got majority about your top five, top eight kind of locked in already, and now you're doubling up their points because you know they're going to finish great already. So if you're trying to fight your way in, you're if you have a bad race, that's just going to completely screw you because now it's even further to get away or catch up to. That I could see some of these type of races throughout the season, but I just don't see a double points Night Dylan.
So to play devil's advocate here, because I think I agree with both Scarecrow and Typhon. I'm not sure the double points idea would be awesome. As much as I am always down to like get some crown jewel races in there. But what if, and again, this is just like a devil's advocate idea. What if, because like you said, the top 8 guys or the top 10 usually are the top 10 in general on most weeks. But what if the crown jewel race was like a Daytona or something like that, where it's not necessarily, a given that the top 8 to 10 guys that are normally going to finish on normal ovals are going to finish in the top 8 to 10. Like maybe you're a 20th place guy, but you come up with a good finish at a Daytona and you got double points that night. Would that make it a little bit better?
I would still stick with. We kind of already have the Mantis Memorial Race, which tends to be at Talladega, but yeah, I think that race kind of does the same thing. It kind of checks off those boxes outside of the double points event, which I'm not against, but I just don't think many people would
Mm.
enjoy it. Thunder, what are your thoughts on it?
So I'm totally against the double points in any scenario, but the crown jewel race talk is kind of my favorite topic, and I'm kind of glad it's been brought up weekly, just to keep the idea going. But I don't think that we could force one either. I think so. We already have the Manus Memorial, which in the past I think the location has kind of been up in the air. I know we've run it at Talladega twice now, just kind of avoiding having it at Bristol, just because Bristol itself has caused some problems in the past. But if we can get that ironed down into one place, Talladega m- might be where it lands. But for a second crown jewel, I think just somewhere that is HRL greatest hits track that is over with everybody. Everybody likes it. All the divisions in the game that we're on can run it consistently, and we know that. And we're not using it for the finale or something like that. Whether it fall halfway through the regular season, which, as I'm thinking, is probably a good place to put a second one should we land on one. Um, and I'm just like the HRL 500 or something, like not anything too crazy or whatnot. Just something that we can all look forward to, like a nice midpoint or whatever. But double points is, I that's not good.
Shockz, do you have? It sounds like we're kind of all in the same boat here. We're not really a fan of the double points thing, even though I threw a devil's advocate argument out there. Are you gonna make it a clean sweep, or are you gonna surprise us?
Um, I do like the idea. I do, but with the current quality of racing, I cannot allow such an idea of a travesty that would be. Um, I like the idea and I like the thoughts of doing something different, something, innovative during the season. Um, there might be something coming up soon that's going to be something we're going to add in the season that we need to talk a little more about that we
Dun
haven't.
dun dun.
But I like the idea, but with the current quality of racing we have, I'm going to have to say no because I don't think we deserve it or have earned it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to disagree
I
with
was
that. I
muted.
think I think we're all on the same page there. Did you have something you wanted to add, Tunda?
Yeah, I just wanted to squeeze in before we moved on to the next topic. I think if we were to do something special, for a crown jewel race, for example, I double points. I don't think messing with the points at all would be the way to do it. I think if anything, that would be the place to squeeze in maybe an alternate scheme night. Maybe we allow customs for a day, but that's something that we would have to test the servers on and everything, and that would be there's a lot that would go into that. But if we were going to do something special, it would have to be on that level of being cosmetic. Because again, I don't think double points is a good idea, and it would just mess up too much.
Well, I know one person who would be strongly in favor of that custom idea, and that is Tatahead. That man asks us for customs weekly, and yeah, that'd have to be something that we'd have to test. But yeah, that does wrap up the second mailbox question there. I got one more here. This one comes from T-Glass. I like this question. I like this question. Uh, who is the current lowest person in each series standings that you think will get their way into the chase?
Mm.
So I'm going to start with Typhon. Who do you think is the lowest down in each series that is going to find a way to get into that top 12 come the cutoff time?
Well, I will say I don't know if it's my Discord or not. Only thing that pops up for mine is team points. I don't have a list of actual.
If you go down to the
Like-
Cup Division tab, you can't see the point standings.
Definitely should. You're in it. You definitely can see it.
It's right under announcements. It's announcements and then point standings.
Mine says announcements under the suggested line.
No, under Cup Division.
In the Cup Division,
Yeah.
Cup
sent it to you,
Division
Typhon.
with an orange square beside
Yeah.
it.
I sent you both of them, Typhon, in a DM.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because
We'll
I was
come
going to
back to-
say I have
I
one
was
for
going to say
the
I can go.
Cup Division for Forza, and then I don't have one that says Cup Division. All it says is
All right.
chat. That's
Well,
it.
check your DMs because Scarecrow sent them to you, and we'll swing back
Gotcha.
around to you once you get a chance to look over it. What do you say, Tunda?
I think the lowest in the Cup series that is going to sneak into the playoffs is going to be our boy Typhon here. He's P16. He's got, that's what, 4 spots to get up in there. We got 8 races to go. He's starting to get it. He said so himself. And I think that we're going to come up on some places that are Typhon tracks, especially. Has Cup run any road courses yet? We haven't.
No.
Yeah. So
we have not.
those are what you call Typhon tracks. He's going to snag at least the top 10 at those, if not top 5s. And I think he's going to get his way in. And down on the truck side, is where it gets a little bit trickier because I think there's going to be a mad dash. There's some guys whose attendance numbers are going to even out as the season finishes up. And you can go as far back as 22nd and 23rd. Chase the TD and Tall Mike both have a chance to get into the playoffs. They're both going to get at least another win apiece. And then they're going to be quick for the rest of the season.
All
They
right.
have a tight
so-
field in the truck series every week.
Yeah, so I guess I'll go next, and I'm gonna go way, way, way out on the limb here. I'm gonna choose a guy who, coming into tonight, is sitting P30 in the Cup standings.
Dang it! You stole my
in the Cup
answer,
standings.
you freak.
But even though he's P30, he's only coming into tonight. He's only about 75 points out of the cut line, and with about 7 to 8 races left, that's only 10 points a race. If he can have his attendance, I know that I've raced with this guy in multiple leagues. I know his pace. If he shows up for all the remaining races, I think he can come all the way from P30 because he's only made 3 starts after tonight. That's the only reason why he's down
hyping
there.
up my affiliate. I'm trying to keep him on the down low, dog.
So that's gonna be the guy. And yeah, actually, now that I think about it, he's not on the roster sheet, I don't think, or else he might have been my guy who I thought gets
He's on the
picked up.
points.
Yeah, but I was looking at the
Uh,
roster sheet when I was trying to figure out who.
I think he's
Should've
on
been
there.
on there. He's on there.
He's
Yeah.
40
Okay,
something.
maybe I missed him, but that might have been my guy who gets picked up as a free agent as well. But I'm referring to Salesman. He's written down in the 41
The
car. I believe he
24.
drove the 24 tonight. But yeah, that's gonna be my long shot way down in P30 on the Cup side. And then on the truck side, just looking at it real quick here, I
Yeah, don't blame the roster sheet, Nilla. He's on there.
that's my fault.
You're welcome, Jack.
I'm gonna say the truck side has less options for guys who are gonna be able to climb out of a big hole. I can't say Chase because I don't think he's gonna make enough races. I'm gonna say, oh, I'm gonna say there's not a lot of movement. I'm gonna say red. Uh, he's 20 points behind now. You know what? I'm gonna go completely different. I'm gonna say nobody outside. I think the season. I think the top 12 right now are the top 12 that make a chase.
Wow.
That's what I'm gonna say.
Yes,
David.
I don't think anyone outside the top 12 right now gets in there. That's gonna be my bold statement.
Offended.
Shockz, what? Yeah, sorry, Tunda. I see you sitting in P13 there.
Well, since you just made my affiliate sound like he's the greatest driver to ever
Well, you have a
walk onto the
teammate you can
sport.
pick too, who's pretty
Well,
far down
that's
there.
well, that's who my pick was gonna be, but I debated just sneaking his name in there just as a little sprinkle, but since you just gave this whole standing ovation, I'm gonna go Wolfgang.
Yeah.
I think he easily had probably almost 50 points tonight. Is my guess. He had a P2, ran very strong. Thought he
And we're
was
going
up
to
there
Richmond.
fighting for the win. Going to
We're going
Richmond,
to-
which might just be his best as a top 3 track for him. That's not including road courses.
Yeah.
Because once we get to road courses, that's just we might all go a lap down. But that's beside the point. I'm gonna go Wolfgang. He's just got a ton of speed. Missed 2 races, I think, to start the season, but I don't think he plans on missing another. For trucks, I actually don't hate Nilla's bold take. I really don't, but just to be different, I know attendance is this man's kryptonite, but if he can stay racing consistently, I think Tall Mike can sneak his way in there. He showed a lot of pace. Don't know where he finished tonight, but through the few races he raced last season, he ran well. I think for the races he has run this season, he's run well. I think that's a guy that could sneak in there.
All right. Wait, sorry. I was reading Jack's. Who did you pick on the truck side? I was reading Jack's comment.
I said Tall Mike.
Oh, Mike. Okay. All right. Crow, what's your answer here?
For me, I'm gonna go with 2 drivers in the same spot in the standings. I'm gonna go with 19th in the Cup Series, LX. I think he's had some bad luck here early, but I think he's definitely one to be reckoned with come the end of the regular season. And then for trucks, I'm gonna go with Rabbit Rabbit. I think he's had a fast truck. I just don't think the finishes have shown kind of the results. And kind of his actual speed. So I'll go with the 2 19th place in the standings drivers.
Yeah, I think Alex is a good pick. If it wasn't for the fact of a couple guys below him, um, like we mentioned, Welp and Sales, I mean, he would have been a really good choice too. So I don't hate that at all. Typhon, were you able to get a hold of those standings pages and come up with your answers?
Yeah, wasn't able to see
Alright.
much on the truck. I think the furthest it went was stage points. But so based off of what I was seeing there, uh, I did like to pick the furthest one back. I would have went with what Shockz was saying, but in a small sense, I don't really see him being able to do it. I don't know him too much. I know he popped in here once, but out of the furthest guys, I'm gonna go to 16th place and go with Uncle Alex. He's collected over 30 stage points, and that's more than all the way up to 9th place. So I mean, if he's getting that much stage points, he's just getting caught up in an incident come the final stage. So I think if he can start supplying those finishes with those stage points, he's gonna make it in there. Uh, my choice based off of this point system, it would have been for the cup side, it would have been Whelpdang, just from hearing what Shockz was saying at the beginning of the podcast. But after tonight, knowing how far I finished back, I think it was like 19th or 24th, something like that. Not trying to be biased, but I think once I get this settled in, I might be able to, and maybe probably the final two races, I think I can snag myself in top 12.
Yeah, I think Alex is a good pick. He would have been one of the guys I was considering to jump into the top 12, and I know I'm gonna have a lot of Cup guys on me about that. Like all the guys that are outside of the top 12, they're like, "What the heck, man? You just think it's already locked up, huh? The top 12 or the top 12?" And I'm not saying nobody can jump in there, but I don't know. I went with a little bit of a bold take there. Um, and then yeah, on the Cup side, it'll be interesting to see. Coming from 30th is gonna be tough, but like I said, it's about a 10 points per race delta. If he makes them all, I think he can do it. It's kind of like that SVG versus like trying to catch up to the leaders this week, right? It's like, does he have enough time? He's fast enough, but does he have enough time? So that kind of wraps up that segment there, HRL mailbox. I was reading, like I said before, I was reading Jack's comments in the chat. He was like, knock, knock, Nilla. I guess he was kind of saying that he wanted to come on after his win. I hate to say no, but I have to because Tata already asked me a couple weeks ago after his win if he could jump in here. And I told him that we already had somebody scheduled and we're only doing one per week. But I will say, Jack, if you're still listening, even before tonight, I advocated for you to be our next truck guest, which
Yeah,
would
we
be
can
next
get you
week.
next week.
Yeah, so if you want to,
Mustang.
okay, well
After
either
Mustang.
if
Yeah.
not next week, then very soon because Jack is definitely somebody.
I'll just line up all the extreme speed guys. Don't worry, I'll
Right.
just get them all covered.
I
But
did
yeah, no,
have a question sent in, but it was more of a trivia question.
Okay.
Who has the most top fives right now in the truck series?
I got the same question.
Oh, like
The
this
answer
season?
is the one who sent it. It's
That's
just
what
this
I
season.
asked him as the reply.
This
That was
season
it.
without looking,
Yeah,
how can I not say Mudflap? I mean, he's leading the points by a good margin.
because you'd be wrong.
Wow. Wow.
It's Seabake in the 23.
Seabake, how many top fives does he have in 6 races?
He's got 4.
Probably like one.
Mudflap has 3.
Okay. All right. So shout out to Seabake. So where was he at in points coming into tonight?
P6.
Yeah.
58
So probably
back from
top
Mudflap.
5 maybe after tonight. Did he get it? Was one of his top 5s tonight?
That was coming into tonight that he had 4. I forgot
Oh,
the results already.
So that was 4 out of 5 then coming into
Yeah.
tonight. Wow.
And tonight he
how
got
do you
5th, so that's 5 out of 6.
how do you finish 4 out of 5 top 5s, but you're not top 5 in the points? Is he just getting 0
Jesus.
stage points?
Yeah.
Stage points.
Must be.
Like, man, that's crazy actually. And now he's got 5 out of 6 top 5s. That's pretty impressive. You just got to work on those stages, Charlie. Come on, man. But
He's got to work on that stock setup. That
yeah,
first run
exactly.
hurts him until we
Exactly.
get to the long runs at the end.
Well, luckily tonight we just got a caution like lap 1, so everybody put in their setup. So. But yeah, that'll wrap up the HRL mailbox. We'll get Jack in here, if not next week, shortly. Definitely a guy we all want to talk to for sure. Shout out to him for getting the win at his home track Pocono tonight. So let's move on to Richmond. We've kind of talked about it a little bit. I know it's getting late, but so preview of Richmond. We haven't gone here on this game, right? Is that
Nope.
correct?
Correct. I was
Yeah, so
I was trying to
went
look
for
at
initial
last year's results and I
testing.
couldn't find them.
Back
Yeah.
before the first actual season, we did testing there.
Yeah, we have not run a points race at Richmond so far on NASCAR 25, and if I remember correctly, at least on the Cup side, I can't speak for the trucks, it was one of the final tracks added to the schedule. we weren't like, we had like 14 of the slots filled, and we were like, man, what are we gonna do with these last two slots? And it was like, or sorry, we had like 18 of the 20 slots filled, and we were like, what are we gonna do with these last two slots? Being that there's 20 races this season, and I think it snuck in just barely over tracks like I believe it was like Darlington and North Wilkesboro, those type of tracks. We ended up settling on Richmond. We're gonna go there this year. I haven't raced a league race there, so I don't know much. So I'm gonna kick it over to Shockz here because he did get his first ODRL win at Richmond towards the end of last season. So what are you expecting quality of racing wise, and as we head to Richmond?
Quality of racing wise, it's a track where so many mistakes can be so easily made. It almost helps spread people out from the beginning. I think it does have that help to it, but it's probably top three most difficult track on this game, but it's a very fun track in my opinion. Might be partially biased, but you're going to be facing a car that is very loose on exit of corners. It requires a lot of throttle control and a lot of managing your exit speeds. Obviously, consistent shifting at a short track like that in the cup cars. Um, but it's going to be more so limiting mistakes and just managing your race, not allowing frustrations to get the best of you, and to also be watching out for the people around you because I promise people are going to be slipping and sliding everywhere.
So being that you're one of the iRacing guys, Shocks, in Richmond being one of the tracks on this new game that is very sensitive to throttle control, do you think that that experience in iRacing and having to deal with that a little bit more helps you at a track like that on this game?
Um, I think it definitely helps from the throttle management perspective. Because obviously iRacing is just way less 100% go, 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 and Richmond's one of the few tracks on this game, especially with how tight knit the couple cars are, where you actually really have to play with the setup and get your car to run best perspective possible. I think it helps from a throttle control perspective, and even potentially knowing which lines work the best and how to arc the corners. It's the best diamond that you can do. That certainly plays strong factors, yes, relating to the iRacing side.
Do you think we'll see multiple grooves be effective?
I personally do, because if I go back to look at the ODRL race, I saw a few guys on the bottom. I saw a few guys really like the middle lane, trying to avoid the big bumps off of exit of turn two is a big one. Even exit of four can get really slidey very easily. And I've even seen the third lane work a little bit there just because of being able to enter the corner with so much more speed and, just avoid those bumps on the exit. I do think we'll see a little multi-groove racing, yes.
What about you, Crow? Anything that you'll have your eye on as we head to Richmond Raceway next week?
Nothing new that Shockz didn't hit on. Just kind of tight confines. Um, like you said, I don't know how well any other groove in the bottom will work. Um, but kind of like what Shockz hit on. It's a lot of throttle control, a lot of brakes. So guys just got to kind of keep their head on straight for the race and not get too flustered if they bump and bang with some other guys on track. That's all I got.
What about you, Typhon? Anything are you excited for Richmond, or is it going to be a track that you're going to be, you know, up on the wheel trying to control that car,
Oh yeah, I
or
mean,
both, or both?
I'm excited for it just because, like I said, I've only ran a few truck series races over with ODRL using the wheel, and a few races that we've done over here, but I've only done last week and this week with it. And, I mean, I've gotten it grounded pretty solid, but like you guys said, I mean, this is gonna be in a small sense technically racing Richmond for the first time in this new game in the season since we didn't. I don't think we did it last year, and I just think it's gonna be definitely somewhere where we definitely need to see a lot more give than take. Just with how everybody was saying, I mean, you're gonna have to be shifting your gears. You're gonna have to be hitting the brakes at certain different points and stuff like that. So, like you were saying, people just coming up with so much speed, they're not gonna brake entirely in time for the next person, and it's just gonna cause a lot of accidents. So I'm worried about the taking part, and especially watching it from the back and trying to drive through all that. That's probably the scary part of the situation, but definitely excited to sit there and get out there and continue to try to push myself back up these points.
What about on the truck side, Tunda? What are you thinking going into Richmond Raceway?
Well, we're actually splitting off
Oh yeah,
from the Cup Series this week. We're heading over to
that's
North
right.
Wilkesboro. We're
That's right.
putting the gloves back on. We had Martinsville last week, and guess we wanted some more. We have more limited track selection over on the Truck
Yeah.
Series, so we can't really get away from the little guys. We're doing kind of a yo-yo this season. We had like plate track, short track, long track, short track, 2.5 miles, half mile. But I think it's gonna be a hell of a night. Hopefully one of the Fords brings it back in. But I hate to be pessimistic, and I hate and I hope I'm proven wrong. But I think I'm gonna get pissed off. I think we're gonna have a lot of cautions, and I think I'm gonna get dumped by the 11
Well, I like how he specifically picked the truck that he's gonna get dumped by at the end
every
there.
week.
That's awesome. That's awesome. No, I had it written down in my notes too. North Wilkesboro, it just completely slipped my mind there. But yeah, I mean, last time you guys were at a short track was Martinsville, and I kind of saw some of what was going down this week in the truck chat. I was just skimming through some of the messages, and there's not a lot of people were were happy coming out of that race. So back to a short track we go. As far as on the Cup side, like I said, I mean I haven't raced a league race at Richmond yet. For me, it'll be a challenge. I will actually have to get some probably laps in this week, just for the fact that I don't want to show up and be a a hindrance to other drivers. So I'll definitely try to get a couple of laps in. I think it was strategically placed right before the bye in the event that it does not go great. Everybody has like 2 weeks to kind of calm down and settle down, because I definitely think it'll be our biggest test to this point in the season as far as tracks go. But let's go ahead and get the picks out of the way here, just so we can call it a night. I know it's late. Um, I will start tonight. I had. Let me look at the thing. Tonight I had Shockz at Pocono. I think he scored me a pretty good amount of points. I think he finished fifth or sixth there. I think he was running up front for the stages as well. So I don't think I did too bad there. On the truck side, I had Dirty Fox. I think I heard he finished outside the top 10, so maybe quite a little bit of a letdown there. And then I do want to give myself a shout out. I have climbed out of the basement of fifth in points. I'm sitting at third now. The most recent one posted there in the fantasy elimination tab is updated. It's Shockz with 394. Guest only 10 points back. The guest has 384, giving Shockz a run for his money. And as I mentioned, I'm sitting at 302, about 92 points back there of Shockz. And then I'm 10 points ahead of Tunda with 293. And then Crow has found the basement in the fantasy elimination standings, but he's only 23 points behind me in third. So third through fifth is a pretty good battle right now, as well as first and second. And then for me this week, I'm going to go with Welpdang. We've mentioned it a couple times already. He's very fast at Richmond. It's one of his better tracks outside of road courses, and I felt like this was a good spot to use him. As long as he makes the race, I do have a backup in mind in case he does not. And then
Mm,
on
Y'all, your
the
switches.
what's up?
This is you guys
Oh
and
yeah,
your
y'all and our
switches.
switches, yeah. And then on the truck side, I'm going to go with Metz. We mentioned it before. He's kind of had a rough start to the season. He's sitting down there in 11th or 12th position, and I expect him to slowly creep his way up in the standings, get to that top five area. And I think this is a track I believe he finished second at last season. And I think I might be wrong on that, but I think he finished second here last season. And I believe this is a track either way that he could start to build some momentum um, toward the second half of the season. What do you say, Crow? Who you get, what's your picks and how they do this week, and what do you got for next week?
My picks from last week, I have no clue how they did. I had NLS and Old Guy, but I'm not really
P3,
sure
I
how
think.
they
He's
went.
something.
Peace out.
For my
P4.
picks, I'm going to go with Shockz for the Cup Series and Hida for the Trucks.
He's going
Shocks
to win
for
if he doesn't lag
the
out.
Shocks for the Cup Series, Hitter for the Trucks. Okay. Who do you got, Shocks?
Well, I had Welpting. Was both of my picks this week were P2, so I think we're always going to take that. Mets was P2, Welpting was P2. Always love that. I'm going to go with myself for Cup, and then for trucks, I'm going to go with Mr. Seabass.
Who did you have for Trucks this week?
The Mets.
Both your drivers got P2 this week, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Man,
Welp was
oh, that's
P2, and then
nice.
Mets was P2.
man. And then you said you're going with yourself and
Mr. Seabass.
Seabass next week. Okay. Um, let's go to Tunda. Who do you got?
I had Alex and Old Guy coming into this week. How did Alex do in the Cup Series? I forgot.
I believe P17 is what he told me.
Yeah.
That's not good, but Old Guy
But I
got
think
his
he
one.
got some stage points. He did run
That's-
up front quite a bit. So
That's good. He said something happened.
Yeah.
And then this week, I'm going to go with. I wrote it down. I don't want to change it. Whoop Dang and Up Top. Up Top.
okay, another Welpting pick and up top. I like that pick as well. I think he's one of those guys that's on a. He's on the cusp of like getting on a roll here. I
He's
think
gonna get a win soon.
Underperformed a little bit, and I think he's
But
going to turn it around.
Yeah, no guarantees going into next week other than Hitta's either going to win or lag out.
All right, so last but not least, Typhon. Do you know how this goes? The fantasy elimination picks.
I choose who I think's gonna finish better. One in the cup, one in the trucks, and I don't.
You just can't pick somebody that a previous guest has chosen. So I guess just pick somebody, and we'll let you know if they are off the board as far as if they've been picked already. So, what do you got on the cup side at Richmond this week?
Has Blue Star been taken?
Let's just check.
I think.
I just
be
put
wrong.
it down.
Blue Star was taken last week by Tatum
Okay.
or the week before. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, and he got 54 points for Tatum. Wow. I'll tell you who's been taken. Actually, I
Tyreek?
have it right here. Tyreek has not been taken by the guest. No, Tyreek is available. Yes. If you would like. This is who's been
Yeah.
taken. Spartan, Linecone, Stein, NLS, Blue Star, and B13. So Tyreek's available if you want him.
Yeah.
All right, we'll put Tyreek down, and then on the truck side, I'll tell you who's been taken. Up top, Brad K, Dirk, Dirty Fox, Mudflap, and Mustang. There's one name there that for sure sticks out that hasn't been taken.
Yeah, kind of paying attention to listen to him on his last time he was in here. I don't know if it was last week or 2 weeks ago, but I might take a shot with all these guys getting wins and kind of messing up that top five. I think one person really wants to go out and do something before getting to his actual good races. I will actually jump on Old Guy.
Old guy. That is not
He knows
who
the
I
track
thought you
better
were
than
gonna
anybody.
pick. but I like it. All right, so Typhon's gonna go with old guy on the truck side at was it Rockingham? Rockingham, right?
Wilkesboro.
North Wilkesboro, and he's gonna go with Tyreek on the Cup side at Richmond. All right, very good. I think that kind of wraps up everything. Thank you, Typhon, for joining us tonight. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah.
Appreciate all you guys tuning in. Thank you, Shockz. Thank you, Tunda. Thank you, Crow, for sticking with us. I know when I'm here, somehow the show always runs like 50% longer. So you guys you've hung around for a while tonight. I appreciate it. But I hope it was a good show, and we will catch you guys next week um, after Richmond and North Wilkesboro for episode 9, and then we'll probably have a bye week there unless we come up with something. I don't know if we're gonna do a show during the bye week. We'll get more information.
Maybe just an idea. We eventually will announce our idea, and then we could all fill
yeah, maybe
it out
we'll
and
do that
talk
on the
about it
bye
on the
week.
stream.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. We
I
have
like
been
ideas.
the admins have been cooking up a little idea that we were thinking about throwing into the middle of this season, and yeah, maybe we can do that. We can drop that news and announcement on the bye week stream. That sounds good to me. If you guys
So
are
we
down.
announce it, and then we all do it, and we drop
Yep.
our
Yep.
thing. Yeah.
All right. Well, stay tuned for that or any information coming up about that, and we will see you guys next week. Y'all have a good night.
Peace.